I wanted to ask a little bit about higher education, the cost of it specifically for colleges and universities in Michigan. Is it too high? Is it prohibitive? What can the governor's office do about that, and what kind of policies would you have in office?
It is too high. And I think one of the problems, we're talking a macro level, and let's talk about some practical things. First of all, we have convinced a couple of generation of kids of the lie that there's only one definition of success. And so if you're a parent and your child doesn't go to a traditional university, then we've convinced people that they're somehow a failure as a parent, and the child is failing, or they take a consolation prize. I hear well-meaning people all the time say, well, not everybody's cut out for college, and those kids can go into the trades. The problem with that well-meaning statement is that it reinforces the false assertion that non-college post-high school education, because post-high school education is required, but non-college post-high school education somehow less. So what happens is you have this system that's like this service that is out there, and they have the market, right? So they're the definition of success. And if you are able to, in any other market, convince the entire public that if you don't buy what I'm selling, if you don't come and buy what I'm selling, your life is ruined. Parents, if your kids, or you don't buy this for your kids, you are a failure as a parent. If you had that market power, you could charge anything that you wanted, and people would line up to pay it. They would borrow money to pay it, and in fact, that's what's happening. And so the first thing I think we need to do is to show kids all the options that they could do with their life, and that's going to include competency-based education, certificate-based education, community colleges, universities, and apprenticeships, and across the board, so many different things. So the first thing is to add in competition to this equation, where all of the options are on the table and universities are competing for kids instead of kids competing for universities. The other thing is, on a more practical level, middle college and dual enrollment is a real game changer. Now, when I went to the high school, I had the benefit of I was one of the schools that was an early adopter in that. By the time I started at college, I already had almost a year's worth of credits, and because of what I was able to get in high school, and through a local community college, and that was a huge advantage. And then I continued to go to community college while I was going to a university. It brought the cost way down overall. The middle college is even better. So you can spend 5 years in high school but graduate with an associate's degree and have half of a university degree already paid for without any cost at all to the student. Those are some practical changes, but we also have to expect that universities adopt the same sort of cost controls that the rest of government has over the last 7 or 8 years. I mean, we have made taken cost control measures, local governments have, but largely universities haven't. And so as we have been trying to increase funding for universities, I think that we should do that in tandem with them taking cost control measures, so that you're doing both at the same time. You're bringing down the overall cost by additional state support, and also cost control, and students having all the options where they have the incentive to keep the cost down in the first place.